right, time now for All Things Gators, All Things Orange and Blue. Dan Hicken over there, Frank Frangie here. What's up, Hick?
Doing well. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, as always, bringing us this podcast. We thank them. If you've got some problem with your ankles, your knees, your shoulders, your elbows, se-ortho.com is the place to go for more information. What a strange year. What a weird season. Bittersweet, but fun game Saturday night. I thought, gosh, we went toe-to-toe with Bama. We hung in there. We got obviously a lot to talk about, but the final score is the final score, and we lost by 6.
Yeah, at some point, there's the John Wooden UCLA.
Yeah.
And then there's the Lombardi Packers.
Yeah.
Right now there's the Saban Alabama Crimson Tide, and they're the dynasty, and they're the best team. They were the better team.
It does make you marvel at what they've accomplished.
It really
right?
does.
And you're right to put them up there because that's what they are.
That's who they are.
Yeah.
They are that team.
Yeah.
And, Florida, I thought Florida had to play a perfect game.
Yeah.
They couldn't. The hands to the face when you get them stopped, the jumping off sides. You couldn't make other games you make mistakes because in a 3-hour football game you're going to make them.
Yeah.
But against Alabama, 2 or 3 mistakes and you lose by 6.
Yeah.
I thought Florida played great. I thought they battled. I thought they were ready to play. I thought Trask was fantastic.
Yep.
I thought Pitts was fantastic, and obviously Tony kept him in the game early. I thought they played about as well as they could play with the people they had out there. Alabama is better, and they're better than everybody. And I said this on my radio show a week ago.
Yeah.
The 2 teams with the best chance to beat Alabama in the whole country.
Yeah.
Were Clemson, obviously,
yeah,
and Florida because they could score with them. Nobody else can run. Nobody else can hang with them. So I thought Florida played about as well as it could play.
You mentioned Kadarius Toney. He was sensational. One of the great stories, really, in Florida football the last few years is Kadarius Toney, where he started, where he's finished. 70 catches, roughly 1,000 yards, roughly 10 touchdowns, roughly. Sensational last go-around with the Gators. Couldn't ask any more from him. Really became a football receiver and has a legitimate shot now to be an NFL player.
I never saw that coming.
Yeah.
He could always stop, start, change directions. The play he made against FSU last year, they're still talking about. But I never thought he would become good hands guy who catches every punt.
That one drive, he had 1, 2, 3 down the field.
I can remember 2 years ago, when they put him back there to be the punt returner. And one of the two first couple punts, he dropped them.
Yeah.
He looked like he fought the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
And the next thing you knew, Swain was back there.
Yeah.
So Swain could catch it. And then Swain becomes a good punt returner.
Yeah.
Well, Swain's gone. I'm thinking, who they put back there because Kadarius can't catch it.
Right.
He spent the offseason learning to catch.
Very comfortable.
Balls in his hand. Now he's snatching them out of the air.
Yeah.
He became a polished receiver, not just a stop and start weapon.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. He was fun to watch, and boy, their season isn't nearly like it is without him.
To put that in perspective, though, and to demonstrate how much better Bama was, Kadarius Toney, receiver-wise, we'll get to Pitts, but was outstanding and probably, I would think, an all-SEC receiver, right? Is there any besides Devontae?
Yeah.
But to put it in perspective, Kadarius Toney had a sensational year. Devontae Smith had 30 more catches, 500 more yards, and 7 more touchdowns.
Yeah, and Devontae Smith is special. Devontae Smith might win the Heisman Trophy.
He might.
He's a truly special player. I got a big picture, and we'll break down specifics of the game.
Sure.
But I got a big picture thought about this game.
Okay.
If they lose to Oklahoma, which they might, that's a pick'em game.
And who knows who's going to play at this point.
Right. So if they lose to Oklahoma, they finish 8-4 with 3 straight losses.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds ordinary.
Yeah.
But it's not. They're not an ordinary team. It's not been an ordinary season. It's been a spectacular season.
Yeah.
8-4 with 3 straight losses at the end of the season would. The annals of time would tell you that that's ordinary, but it's not.
No.
This is not. This has been a special, program-changing season.
I hope so, and I think so.
Yeah, and yet the numbers won't bear that out. So I'm
not going to get down if they lose 3 straight to end the year. It's like I said, bittersweet earlier. It's just a. I tell you what, I haven't looked forward to Saturdays in a long time like I did this year. They were fun to watch, right?
When Kyle Trask would run on the field, you were excited.
Yeah.
When you dropped back, you were excited, and still are. And so it's been as fun a Florida season as we've had in a long time. And again, they're getting, albeit with 10 seconds or 15 seconds, they're getting the ball back in the SEC championship game against what I think is by far the best team in the country, down 6.
Yeah, Mullen made a boo-boo, or we would have had about a minute, no timeouts.
Yeah, and by the way, can I speak to that?
Yes, you can.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Because had he not used the timeout, my opinion, had he not used the timeout on the 2-point conversion, Alabama wouldn't have run it 3 times. Alabama on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 8 would have thrown, because Nick Saban wasn't giving Dan Mullen the ball back.
Right.
With 45 seconds left, down 6.
Yeah, you're right. They would have went for it.
They'd have thrown the foot. No, they might not have made it.
Right.
But he'd have thrown the foot.
Odds are they would have.
Right. So,
Alabama,
so I don't believe this. Mullins fell on the sword and said we would have 40 seconds more. I think Alabama throws it on 3rd and 8 rather than give Dan Mullen the ball back with a minute to play.
And it will be, as we look back at the season, there'll be a lot of what-ifs, because you're right. I mean, to lose to Alabama, mighty Alabama by 6, well, if you had beaten A&M,
right?
If you had beaten LSU, you'd be in the Final Four.
You're still in. That's exactly.
You'd be in the Final Four.
Those 2 games kept you out of the Final. We said all along, 10-0.
There would have been some discussion if they had beaten LSU.
Yeah.
They would have got some. There would have been a little more chaos going in, like some people trying to make an argument for Florida.
Right, but they wouldn't have got in.
No.
If they beat LSU 9-1, lose to Alabama by 6, they're not in.
Yeah.
They're not in with 2 losses. The only way you're in with 2 losses, you had to win your conference.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there'd have been some discussion. But it was a wonderful season. Boy, Kyle Pitts. Even the career I think he's going to have as a professional football
I was talking
player.
to one of my buddies last night, Gator buddy, who follows Florida sports religiously, Florida football especially, and he lives on the West Coast. And he said to me, and listen to this comment now, and then you tell me. He said, I'm not sure I've ever seen a better player in a Florida uniform than Kyle Pitts. My first thought was, whoa.
Yeah.
He's on my Mount Rushmore receivers. He was unstoppable this year. He will never have he didn't have the numbers because of the injuries and such.
Right.
But by goodness, he was good.
Yeah, he will. I love the comment.
Yeah.
I think history will have trouble remembering that.
Yes.
Because of Emmett and Tebow and on and on.
Yes.
But I get the point.
Yeah.
As far as skill and talent.
Yeah.
Skill and talent.
Yeah.
The best guy they might have had might be Wilbur Marshall.
Correct.
So in terms
of my go-to guy.
Yeah. So skill and talent. I mean, he runs routes like Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Yet he's 250 pounds.
Yeah.
He's a 250-pound tight end. The way he comes off jams, the way he cuts at that line of scrimmage when you're trying to jam him, he looks like one of the really good receivers.
I would be shocked if he's not a top 10 pick.
Me too.
T.J. Hawkinson was a top 10 pick.
Correct. And
I would be shocked
if
Kyle mismatch Pitts.
Yeah.
Because that's what he is in the NFL.
Yeah, and he's going to get.
And in college.
He's 246, they say. Probably closer to 240.
Yeah.
He'll play at 255, 260.
Yeah.
He'll run. I mean, he is catches everything.
Oh, man.
I mean, there's never he didn't have a drop all year.
Yeah.
He had the most. I saw he had the most targets in the country without a drop. So I mean, he catches
so good.
Big hands, catches it in his hands. He's such an athletic.
Out of the bowl game.
Yeah.
Wish him well.
And you know
goodbye.
what?
That's
I'm
fine.
totally fine with that. You know what? I still can't get out of my mind. Remember Jake Butt from Michigan?
Yeah.
Really good tight
ACL.
end. Really played in the bowl and blew the. It's never been the same. Still plays, but never been the same.
No.
I would rather Kyle Pitts not play in the bowl game and go have a great.
The other thing to remember this quirky bowl season is there's not the X amount of practices that you normally. The Gators are playing in 10 days.
Yeah, right.
So they'll go through a couple light. I mean, so it's not like it's going to get them jump started on next year.
Right, and but to that end, I do wonder what in that game. What do you do with the Trask versus everything?
Oh, now you want to see my guy.
No.
Well, my guy's going to be unleashed in the game, in the Cotton Bowl.
I made it clear. Our friendship changed forever that you didn't give Trask his due before.
I did.
I've overlooked this.
I did.
But it's not been easy for me. I go to church. I need to forgive.
So let me ask you something. When Emory ran for 17 on that first time he touched the ball, did you think at all, maybe we should take out the potential Heisman Trophy winner and let the guy who gives the Alabama can't play running quarterbacks?
Well,
did you think that at all?
No, but
I crossed your mind?
But I tell you what I did do. I'm watching this with my friend Hayes Carline, right?
Uh-huh.
And every time, and this has happened all year long. Okay?
Yes.
This is the same narrative. Every time Emory goes in, I yell at the TV.
You do.
And I yell at him every time. And every time it works.
Yeah.
And every time he runs for 17, I go, okay, Dan Mullen's smarter than me. That's why he's the coach, and I'm some Yahoo doing radio.
Yeah.
But I do it at the same time. And the next time he goes in, I yell at it again.
Right.
And it always works.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I love what Kyle Trask has done. It's one of my favorite Gators of all time. But because of the added dimension,
Yes.
and because of how important quarterback running is
Yes.
in the Dan Mullen system,
Yeah.
I am excited
Yeah.
about what
I don't
what
think
this will be.
I don't think Emory's going to throw for 4,000 plus yards, 43 touchdowns, and 5 picks. But I do know he's going to run better. With that said, I want to give a shout out to Trask because I thought he was wonderful on Saturday night. And I'll tell you what I liked most about him: the toughness to go throw his head in there and run And he picked up a lot of key yards for them on the ground. I thought he was, look, he's never going to break anything, but when they needed 2 or 1 or 3 or on the goal line, he punched it up in there.
If you start thinking about him, what a great Gator he has been. I mean,
Great.
think about it.
Like all time.
Yeah, all time.
He stayed.
Stayed.
Texas kid staying in Gainesville.
Right, never left. Never left.
Yeah.
Waited his turn.
Yeah.
Then when had to play, not only was great, but was great in the big moment. Down 14-0 to Georgia.
Yeah.
Down a bunch in this game.
Yeah.
Down all the never ran, not a running quarterback, but stuck it up in there. And listen to him interviewed. Never says anything but the perfect things. A sweet disposition and so humble. And I mean, when you look back at if you look back at the great Gators in terms of who they are, not just how they play.
Yeah.
Werfel and Tebow are top of the list. This dude's right there, man. Right, never says anything, never jaws at anybody. Just a good teammate, a good person. I mean, Kyle Trask is going down as one of the great Gators of all time.
He should. Best year passing by any Gator quarterback, which is saying a lot now.
You know, probably the best pure passer they've ever had down there was Rex Grossman.
Yes.
And he had the great 2001 season.
Yeah.
But Rex had a little baggage. There was a missed curfew.
Yeah.
There was,
this kid.
This guy is perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, what a career Kyle Trask has had.
Yeah, so congrats to him. And if you're Kyle Trask, would you play in the bowl?
I would.
Yeah.
I would. It's back in Texas. Quarterbacks are less likely to get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unlikely for quarterbacks to blow ACLs.
You think Tony plays in the bowl?
That one's the one I don't know.
Do you think Grimes plays in the bowl?
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't.
Yeah.
If you asked me to start guessing.
Clearly what Mullen said after the game, that this team will never be together again, it's more than just one guy.
Yeah. I would. If I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Trask plays.
Okay.
I'm going to guess Grimes doesn't.
Okay.
And I would say Tony's a coin flip.
Okay, well, if Tony, Grimes, and Pitts don't play, why should Trask?
Yeah, because he's Kyle Trask and he's going to play. Because that's who he is.
Yeah.
And by then he might be holding the Heisman Trophy, by the way.
Yes, he will.
But
one or the other. Well, he will know,
or may not,
right?
Yeah.
When is the Heisman Trophy announcement? Is it next weekend? It's a virtual thing. I don't even know.
I don't know either.
I know my vote's in. Is your vote in?
My vote is in.
Yeah.
But it's a good point. I don't
Between you and me, you want to tell me who you voted for?
I can't do that.
Why not?
I can do it. I can't do it on a podcast.
Oh, we're on the podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe nobody listens.
Yeah. I mean, all right. Okay. I'll tell you. You want me to tell you? This is a Gator podcast. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
James Blackman. Okay.
Very nice.
Sorry, it's a Gator. Sorry, Knowles. It's a Gator podcast.
Very
okay,
nice.
We're allowed to do. Can we do that on the Gator podcast?
I really think
I said that in fun.
I know you did. I really think that when you talk about the Heisman Trophy, that you can make an argument for any one of 4 guys in my mind. 4 guys. There's 4 guys I went around and around with, and you can make an argument for any 4. And you could throw in a 5th if you wanted. Najee Harris just sort of was a quiet. But my God, he was great on Saturday night, and he has been great all year, and people haven't given him his due.
I picked between. I decided when I sat down at my computer that those 5 are all on my mind.
Yeah.
I had Devontae Smith, Najee Harris, and the 3 quarterbacks all on my mind.
Yeah.
And so I said.
I think that's fair.
I think somewhere in that group, and again, we honor what the trust asks.
Yes.
It says don't say
we're not
picks, so we're not going to say.
Yeah.
But those guys were the guys on my mind the most when I sat down at my computer.
What he's saying is the Heisman Trophy trust you sign with. And by the way, it's getting harder and harder to vote every year. I had to decipher and code.
Text,
and
I
mean, what are we doing here, Frank? Get through it all, but we did send it in. In there, you check a box where you say, I won't tell you who won, because there was a time here about 3 or 4 years ago where some sites were figuring them out.
Right. And I like it, by the way. I like the fact that the trust tells you don't say until afterwards.
I wonder, and this is a fair discussion about the Heisman Trophy as people vote. Vegas has Devontae Smith and Mac Jones sort of neck and neck.
I saw that.
I wonder, though, you always wonder if you split the vote.
Well,
then somebody else slides in and snags it.
I don't think people say that a lot.
Yeah.
If you could only vote for one,
but you get points.
Yeah, that
1,
would
2,
factor.
and 3, which are 3, 2, and 1.
Anybody who's voting for Mac or Devontae is voting the other one second. So
Yeah.
I don't think they'll cancel each other out. But if
Yeah.
you can only vote one guy, if you had one vote,
Yeah.
then they would cancel each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think because of the system.
Right.
But again, we will. And after it's over, when we can,
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk all about it. So,
Yeah.
but I thought for the game, the season, I thought Florida played as well as it could. Let's get to Grantham for a second.
Yeah.
Because everybody's down on Grantham.
They want him out.
They all
Gator Nation wants him out.
Gator Nation always wants him out. And by the way, and let me, in fairness to Gator Nation, I don't think Todd had a very good year.
I would agree.
Guys were out of position. There's no excuse for the LSU game.
Yep.
Got busting coverages that late in the year.
Statistically, they weren't near as bad as people perceived them to
Right,
be. And
right.
the SEC, changed again, Frank. Final score SEC championship, 52-46. Final score Big 12 championship, 27-21.
I know, isn't that funny?
Cyclical.
Yeah, but I don't think that is a product as much of now the Big 12 doesn't play that way anymore.
Yeah.
They're not as good.
Well, there you go.
And so no, they may prove me wrong in the Cotton Bowl. But back to Grantham.
Yes.
I don't think he had a very good year.
Mhm.
I don't think he's the worst coordinator of all time, and the program's going to crash in ruins if they keep him, like Gator Nation thinks. But he didn't have a very good year.
Right.
And so maybe you do look at that, and it wouldn't surprise me if they made a change there. But bigger than that,
Mhm.
and again, I'm Gator Nation. I'm not saying keep Todd Grantham. He's great. He didn't have a very good year.
Right.
So maybe keep everybody happy by moving on. I'm a little more indifferent than some are, but you got to get those 4s and 5s.
Yeah.
The difference in defense.
You could tell.
The difference in
Yeah.
defense was you don't forget comparing Florida to Alabama.
Yeah.
Compare Florida to Florida.
Yeah.
You don't have Joe Hayden and Janoris Jenkins and Brandon Spikes and Carlos Dunlop.
Yeah.
When you have that,
Yeah.
I'm not sure it matters who's calling the defensive plays.
Well, that might be true.
I mean, I'm not sure. Does anybody?
The problem is
who's Urban's coordinator in 6 and 8? Defensive coordinator
who was it?
was Charlie.
Yes.
But you had to think, didn't you?
Yes.
Because it wasn't about that.
No.
The point, you knew who the offensive coordinator
Yeah.
was, but it wasn't about the defensive
No,
coordinator.
no points.
It was about Janoris
Yeah.
and Spikes and
Stars.
It was
It
about
was about number one recruiting
it was
classes.
about
Number
correct.
2 recruiting
That's
classes.
defense is about ballers,
Yeah.
man. I know people want to say Grantham's the worst ever, and if
Yeah.
we fire Grantham, all will be well. But defense is about guys. It's about dudes, man. That's how you win.
Yeah, I always defer on the coordinator stuff, and I understand where the fans are coming from, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was a change, to be honest with you.
And I'd be okay either way.
You're looking at a guy who, again, I've told you the story before, we used to scream at a guy named Shanahan and how bad he was. So, take it with a grain of salt. When you talk X's and O's, now, we can watch the games and see some things that we wonder if Florida still had trouble getting set on Saturday night, even to this point, which is sort of mind-numbing.
Yeah, I don't think Todd had a very good year.
Yeah.
And for that reason, if they move on, I'm okay with it. If that's
Will they move on, yay or nay? Best guess. I think they might. I
boy,
think
it's
he might.
50-50. It was interesting in his presser the other day.
Yes.
I didn't see the question. I didn't watch it, but I saw some. I was on Twitter.
Yes.
And it said Dan Mullen said Todd Grantham will call the plays this.
He
this
said
week.
it. He said it almost. Though
Right.
he said like, of course he is.
Yeah.
Answer.
Yeah, because I'm thinking. Yeah. So if you ask me to guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that they're going to keep him.
Okay.
Because Dan Mullen is a loyal guy.
He is a loyal guy.
And my guess is that they were not fire Todd. Now, again, I don't know that. There's been so much talk about it. You know, you look at the coordinators he's had.
Yeah.
He's had Benny Diaz.
Yeah.
He's had
he'll find a good
Jeff
one.
Collins.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of guys that are head coaches now.
Oh, yeah.
That have called his defenses. So
Grantham was being the NFL was after him last year.
Yeah. And by the way, if Todd Grantham goes away, the Gator fans that all think he's terrible, he'll have a good job.
Yes, he will. I want to tell you one other thing. You mentioned recruiting, and you got to get the 4 and 5, and you do. And Florida's checking in at 7, 8, 9, in that area. But the machine's still rolling in Tuscaloosa, so it's going to be tough to beat. I mean, they had number 1 recruiting class again in 2021.
I looked at this on 5 stars. How about a 5? I get 5 stars.
Yeah.
Of all the 5 stars in the country.
Yeah.
The sign in the country.
Yeah.
Which is like 30 some.
Sure.
Is that what it is?
Okay.
Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia had more than the rest combined. Did you know that?
Did not.
Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia. I want to say had like 15 or 16 between them.
Mm-hmm.
That's more than everybody else combined.
Got your hands full. I mean, again, and in fairness to Dan Mullen, he's getting a 7, 8, 9 class with facilities that are not up to snuff, comparatively speaking. I'm not telling you, I've argued this forever, so I'm not sitting here telling you, but the football facility is being built. It'll be wonderful when it's done. It'll be great for for the recruiting purposes.
Yeah. Now let me say
as
this
well
about recruiting.
Yeah,
Dabo Swinney won a national title without winning a recruiting championship.
that's right.
Okay, he
got the quarterback.
he got the quarterback, but he did get really good 4-stars.
Yeah,
it could have been
but
5.
after he got the Pied Piper
Yes,
quarterback,
the first
one,
yeah,
DW,
correct.
Then they started to come.
No question.
That opened the door
and then he
for
had
him.
the slide and the putt and everything.
Yes, and then the facilities
right.
came.
But
Yes, I agree.
I tell people this all the time. Steve Spurrier walked on the campus and changed Florida forever. The
Yes.
day he took the job,
Yes.
Florida, which always lost to Georgia, that was over.
Mhm.
Florida, which couldn't go toe-to-toe with Bobby Bowden's FSU, that was over.
Mhm.
Florida, which couldn't win the SEC, that was over.
Mhm.
Florida went from laughing stock of the league
Mhm.
to the creme de la creme of the league, the
Yeah.
king of the league. Okay?
Yeah.
But it still took 6 years to win a national title.
Yes, it did.
He took
I
the
am
job.
so on board with Dan Mullen.
Yeah, me
and
too.
so don't understand these
Well, I think most people are
naysayers
Yeah, but I
and
think
negative
mo-
Nellies that come out.
People get mad.
Yeah.
Nobody,
That's fine.
Pat Dooley, our friend Pat Dooley,
Yeah.
says it best. Nobody suffers winning quite like Gator fans.
That's true.
And he's 100% right. But remember, Steve Spurrier took the job on December 31st, 1989.
Yes, he did.
That's when he took the job. His first game he coached was in September of 1990.
Yes, he did.
He did not win a national championship till January of 97.
Yeah, good
Okay,
point.
So for the record,
Yeah.
you got to get the ballers.
Yeah.
No matter how good a coach you are, until you had Johnny Rutledge and Fred Weary and guys
Yeah.
who they couldn't block. And
And for a guy who couldn't recruit, he was pretty good. They had some. Go back and look at his. I looked at back last week at his class rankings. He had 2 or 3 number 1 classes while he was at Florida.
well, he went out and hired Ron Zook.
Yeah.
He went and hired 2 or 3 other
Yeah.
recruiters.
Yeah.
Carl Franks was good.
Yeah.
You have to go get those guys
Yeah.
that can recruit them.
Brewster's one of those guys.
Brewster's one of those
Yeah.
guys. And I think, by the way, this class,
Mhm.
even though it's ranked 7th or 8th based on
Yeah.
what you look at, this has the kind of defensive guys
Yeah.
that can change you.
Let's hope.
You need defensive guys. Mullen said it in his presser, Dan.
Yeah, he
after
did.
He said,
He did.
What'll take you to the top? He goes, we need to get better at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
We need, and he's right. He's a
Yeah.
smart guy, man.
He is.
Smart guy.
One other thing we should mention again, the story for Florida athletics this
Yes.
year, and to see Keontae Johnson on video
Yes.
dancing and talking and delivering a message was so heartwarming for all Gator Nation. And, just God bless him and his family. It's great because as more and more comes out, I think what we've learned is how dire the circumstances were. And I think there's somebody in that arena that day who saved his life.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I thought I was fearful he would never come out of a coma.
Yes.
I was without knowing anything. By
Yes.
the way,
I was fearful on that day
Yeah.
that we were going to get bad news.
Yeah, I was too. I was fearful that it was a tragedy that he would die.
Yes.
Not only did he not die,
Yes.
but it looks pretty apparent now that he looks like a guy with proper care.
Yes.
That's going to live a nice full life.
Yes.
Whether he plays basketball again is inconsequential.
Correct.
It looks like this is a guy that's going to live a nice full, a happy life.
Mhm.
Seeing him dancing around with his friends.
Yeah.
I mean, what 22-year-old young men should be able to do
Yeah.
is hang out with their buddies.
Yes.
If they get to go run and dunk and make millions of dollars, that's fine.
Mhm.
But first and foremost is hang with your family and hang with your buddies.
Yeah.
Seeing him hanging out with his buddies,
Yeah.
that trumped everything else.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
else for me.
So anyway, certainly
Yeah.
some great news, and hopefully Florida Hoops will planning on resuming here in the next
I think
SEC play, right?
Yeah, shame on me, podcast nation.
Cancel the
for not
2
knowing
weekend
this.
games,
Right.
cancel the next non-conference
yeah,
game,
yeah.
and I think full
Correct.
steam ahead for the next one.
And I apologize to Podcast Nation for not knowing this.
Yes, because you're the basketball reporter here.
I am, and I'm doing a bad job. But do they open with Vanderbilt the night of the Cotton Bowl? Why do I think
Great
it's the
question.
same night?
I'll see. That's
You
you're
know,
further along than I am.
So Podcast Nation. Next time we do a podcast, I'll know that. I should know it now.
Yes.
But I want to say it's the same night.
All right.
Well, I don't want it the same night.
No.
I want now. If the game's in Vanderbilt, I need Commodore Nation.
Yes.
To move that game up a few hours.
If they don't mind.
So not conflicting.
That would be fair.
So I think that's what's happening. All
All right,
right,
brother.
that's all things Gators, all things orange and blue. Dan Hicken and Frank Frangie.
And thank you, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, the very best in the business. And for more information on how you can get some care in Jacksonville, orthopedics-wise, se-ortho.com. Have a great week, Frank.
You too, man.